will rise, but it's going to rise after Patty. Remember, y'all about to rise.
Thank you, Geraldine. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, ladies. It gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce your speaker this morning. I can say a great deal about your speaker, because I have known her all of her life. But I will tell you just a few things about her. Your speaker grew up in Dallas, Texas. She graduated magna cum laude from University of Houston. She graduated from Georgia State University, summa cum laude, with a master's degree in counseling psychology. She is personally a doctoral student at Sam Houston State University, getting a PhD in counseling education. Probably she will be graduating. She will summa cum laude from there as well. GPA there. She has been in private counseling for 7 years and is the owner and clinical director of Living Well Professional Counseling Services for 5 years and has 5 clinical workers working in the practice with her. Shana is the founder and the executive director of her board, a nonprofit organization for domestic violence. She is a researcher and a first-time author. The title of her book is Get Your Life, the 90-Day Journal. It is hot off the press. This week, do not leave the conference without your life. Get your life. She has been seen on Great Day Houston. She has been heard on the Sunday morning live radio show 102. She would be on that show July the 10th. So get up on Sunday morning and listen to Shana on live radio 102, July the 10th. You can follow her on Facebook. She lives in Houston with her husband and 2 darling children. Needless to say, they're all the apples of my eye. She has a handsome son, 9 years old, and a pretty darling, a pretty daughter, 7 years old. And she is a Christian. I am very proud to present to you your speaker, my favorite daughter. Only daughter. And the future Dr. Shana D.
say thank you to all of you ladies for being here this morning. You got up early on a Saturday morning. That bed is good, buddy. Good mattresses, good sheets. That was awesome. And I also want to say thank you. Sister Fox said it best. Your mama you can't get no better. You can't get no better. And so, I mean, what better introduction about the woman who gave me life? I am who I am because of her. So you can talk. She gonna make me cry. I'm so thankful to be here this morning. I'm super excited. I dyed my hair purple for the wild river. I'm ready. I got on white when I got on purple. But I just want to, it's my greatest pleasure to be here with you this morning. I'm so delighted to speak with you. My topic today is abuse from trials to triumphs. We don't deal with that. As a licensed professional counselor, I have spent many, many years working with women from a variety of walks of life and a variety of issues. But I find this work very, very personal. I figured out something a very, very long time ago. The Bible says the man is the head of the house. The head, yes, he is. But what I know to be true, the woman is the heartbeat. The pulse that keeps that thing going. And so I take it personal as my job to make sure I keep the heartbeats pumping across this town. And as a counselor, sometimes it's devastating to sit before a woman and you hear, oh my gosh, you hear of the pain, you hear of the abuse, you hear of all of the turmoil that we have to endure. It breaks my heart, it does. Especially when I consider my work in her voice. My mother mentioned that a little while ago. Her voice is my baby. I gave birth to two, and actually I have a third child. It's called Her Voice, that's her name. And that organization is dear to my heart. It's a nonprofit dedicated to empowering survivors of domestic violence through mentorship and education. It's much like Big Brothers and Sisters, with one is a big and a little. Well, our mentors are women who have been there, done that, out of these relationships for 2 years or more, and they become mentors to mentees who have recently left these relationships. In the 2 years when a woman first leaves, she is the most vulnerable, which is why the program is placed in those 2 years when she just left. The mentees are 90 days out to less than 2 years. She needs someone to help her walk through that thing, to go from her trials to her triumphs. So that's my third baby. So when anybody asks how many kids Shana has, she got 3. 2 of them got legs, the other one doesn't. Now, given this topic today, abuse, I think it's important first to define what it is. What is abuse? Now, I'm looking for some group participation. Could someone just tell me, what do you think abuse is? Verbal, physical, emotional, sexual. There you go. It comes in all kind of forms. I think we look at some statistics. Every 9 seconds, a woman is assaulted or beaten. Every 9 seconds. You think about how many sets of 9 seconds we got every day. That's oh my God, the thought of that brings me chills. I don't know if you watched the news recently, but in the last 2-3 weeks here in Houston, we have had some devastation at the hands of abusers. One in particular that he killed the ex-wife and a child in self-defense. I don't believe that. But that's just one. There was 2 families that were devastated. Houston, we have a problem. 1 in 3 women have been physically abused in her lifetime. So if we look at this room, and I take that from a statistic and put it in the room, if we have 100 women in this room, that means 33 of you have been abused, will be abused, or you're currently being abused right now. 1 in 5 have been severely physically abused. They need medical attention, hospitalization, whether she gets it or not. 1 in 5. 50% of women will endure some form of psychological abuse. Now, we talked about the other form, psychological. That's this person who tells you stupid, you dumb, you ugly, won't be nothing. Ain't nobody gonna want you but me. Be glad I married you. This psychological abuse. That means if I split this room in half of y'all have already gone through that, you will go through that, or you're going through it right now. Now, almost 50% of women who have ever experienced domestic violence and intimate partner violence were between the ages of 18 and 24. The 18 and 24-year-old woman is the most at risk for violence. Now that's frightening to me. That's the college student. That's the young woman who just graduated high school, going on to her life. She's so excited, right? She's the most vulnerable. Of women who have ever experienced abuse, 22% of them were between the ages of 11 and 17, the first time it ever happened. What grade is that 11-year-old in? She in middle school, end of elementary, depending on what school you're in or what state you live in. 10 year in the 5th grade. So she's in the 6th grade. So that's like, she's a brand new middle school student. If we start talking about this issue when she's 18, are we too late? Yes. Because she was 11 when it happened the first time. It's a conversation that has to happen sooner and sooner. And I take it, it's my personal mission. I want to educate. Intervention is wonderful, but prevention is everything. If I can stop it from happening because I educated you, oh, praise God, Jehovah. We've saved somebody's life. So I'm so excited that the WOW committee felt the need, saw it fit for me to come and speak with you today on this topic because it relates to us so much. Now, if we go to the dictionary definition of intimate partner violence, and that's violence that happens between a male and a female who are in a relationship, is described as physical violence, sexual violence, stalking, psychological aggression, which also includes coercive acts by a current or former intimate partner. You all mentioned it could be emotional, it can also be financial, and it can be spiritual. Abuse comes in all kinds of forms. Some might say if she doesn't have a bruise, she wasn't abused. Truth be told, the wounds that you can't see are the ones that run the deepest. The one that heals doesn't hurt anymore, but the one on the inside, that's the one that's so painful. So part of the fundamental issue with intimate partner violence, and our battle against it, is that women don't always label it for what it is. So we might say, we might even recognize it. We might experience something and say, oh, I don't need one time. Well, he just had a rough day. You know, he's a good man. He's so fine. You know, I'm lucky to have him. He chose me. Right? I say to you, the way that a woman reconciles what happened to her determines what she does about it. Right. If she believes it was just one time, she's reconciled. That was a fluke. That's what it matters. Our job is to educate, to let her know one time is one time too many. Because if you did it once, and I'm not a betting woman, but I bet you you'll do it again. The next time, it's worse. Next time, it's worse. If she blames herself and she thinks, well, I shouldn't have said this, done that, then she feels that she can somehow control her environment, change her behavior, so that it changes the outcomes that she has, as opposed to it being his problem that he needs to address. Right? So how she reconciles it determines what she does about it. So now, who does abuse actually happen to? We all Christians, right? It don't happen in church. I don't know, I'm just saying. The brothers in the front, singing. My husband is singing. He ain't never abused me. Let me just put that out there. But I do have a good man, praise God. But he praying over the communion. He can even be a preacher. I'm telling you what I know, not what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. It can be anybody. Now, there are stereotypes about abuse. We say that the woman who's abused, she's uneducated, she's unemployed, she got a whole bunch of kids, she can't take care of herself. She stays with him because she can't afford to take care of them or herself. So she stays. Is that really true? No. Those are just stereotypes. Television has a great way of skewing the realities of life. It does. The reality is abuse can happen to anyone at any time. It does not have a name. It does not have an address. It does not have a bank account. It does not have a faith. It does not have a shoe size. It does not have a color. It can happen to anybody at any time. In essence, abuse is a systematic way of a man destroying a woman from the inside out. Inside out. It's deep. I was asked by Sister Holland when I'm making this presentation, she asked me if I could provide a case study. We wanted to make this something real, relevant, to connect to someone's real story. I said, sure, not a problem. So I will do that. But before I do that, each of you, there was a paper passed out. Does everyone have that paper? On the top of the paper, it should say Janet's attributes. And let me say, there is a Janet in the room. It's not about her. This is not her story. You know, names and some details of this story have been changed to protect the identity of the young woman whose story that I'm telling you. But this paper lists different attributes about Janet. And we'll use this paper to represent her. Can someone just read out some of her attributes for me on the paper?
Beautiful.
Yes,
Smart.
She was beautiful.
Beautiful. Smart.
Great work.
Great work ethic. Liked by others. Respected. Janet was very good. She had it going on. To tell you this story about Janet, we're going to start with her when she was younger, into her early 20s. And then as I go through this presentation, anytime you hear me say something that's negative that happened to her, I want you to rip a piece of this paper, and I'm going to have you throw it on the floor. Okay? But we'll start with Janet. She's a young woman, graduated from high school, went on to college, great grades. Again, she was super intelligent. She had dreams out of this world of what she wanted to do with her life. So at the age of 23, she left home and she went far, far away to go to school to get a graduate degree. So again, she's super intelligent, so she's in this program. She just broke up with her boyfriend before she left home to go to this education. A little sad about that, but still very excited about the opportunities that were ahead. So she enters the classroom and she meets this young man. Slightly older than her, good looking, fine if you will, also intelligent because he too is getting a graduate degree. That says something about him, right? So she's like, oh, he's liked by other people, he's super popular. And so in her mind, it's a good catch. She begins to date him. And in the beginning, everything was wonderful. Great relationship, took care of her, everything was great. And then she tells me one day what stands out to her the most. They were driving. She was driving.